What if the electric chair couldn't stop a mother's secret from sparking a Cold War mystery that still shocks us today? June 19, 1953, Sing Sing Prison, New York. The sky's glowing a deep red, and inside, 2 electric chairs hum like something out of a suspense movie. Julius Rosenberg, 35, your everyday radio geek, steps forward. Strapped in, eyes steady, the switch flips. One surge of 2,000 volts, and he's gone in moments. Then Ethel, 37, a mom who'd sing her kids to sleep, takes her place. Here's the hook that'll pull you in tight. First surge, nothing happens. Second, smoke rises from her head, she's still holding on. Third, 5 long minutes pass, her head clouded in haze, guards scrambling, witnesses shaken by the heavy smell of smoke. America's first civilians executed for espionage in peacetime, and it's a scene you won't forget. This isn't just history, it's a Cold War drama packed with real stakes, real heartbreak, and a story that split a nation wide open. Were Julius and Ethel Soviet masterminds slipping the A-bomb to Stalin? Or just a New York couple caught in Uncle Sam's paranoid storm? I've dug deep into history's wildest tales, wars, trials, mysteries, and this one's a heavyweight. By the end, you'll be shouting, "Justice" or "Betrayal." No middle ground here. Stay with me. This journey's gonna grab you and hold on. Drop it in the comments. You're in charge. Do you flip that switch or shut it all down? Let's step back to the 50s. America's a pressure cooker on edge. The Cold War's got everyone on pins and needles. August 29, 1949, the Soviets set off RDS-1, their first A-bomb, a mirror image of our Fat Man. People panic. How'd they catch up so quick? McCarthyism's sweeping through. Senator Joe McCarthy's spotting communists in his morning coffee, waving lists of traitors like he's starring in a thriller. The Korean War's wearing us thin. 50,000 American boys lost by 53, leaving empty seats at family dinners. The H-bomb's looming large, and every diner from Boise to Boston's whispering, "We're one push away from disaster." Enter Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, the all-American pair who'd become the nation's top targets. July 17, 1950, FBI storms their Lower East Side home on Monroe Street, a cozy corner of the American dream. Julius, 32, slim, glasses slipping, is tinkering with a broken radio, humming Sinatra's "Fly Me to the Moon." Ethel, 34, barely 5 feet tall, apron dusted with flour, is flipping pancakes, calling out to Michael, 7, and Robert, 3, "Stop wrestling, you'll tip the table." Agents burst in. "You're atomic spies." Cuffs click. Michael's crying, "Mommy." Robert's clinging to her skirt. Neighbors peek out like it's a live crime show. Julius, born May 12, 1918, East Side tenements, son of a Polish-Jewish tailor weaving hope into worn fabric. Bright kid, earns an engineering degree from City College in '39, a big deal when jobs were scarce. Lands work with the Army Signal Corps, radar whiz with a steady paycheck, keeping soldiers connected. But here's the twist. He's been a communist since 19, slipping into young Communist League meetings, handing out flyers under flickering lights, dreaming of a fairer world. Idealist or troublemaker? That's your call. Ethel Greenglass, born September 28, 1915, a block away, daughter of a machinist patching together a tough life. She's got heart, sang in choirs, dreamed of lighting up Broadway with her voice, but types memos for pennies to keep the lights on. Meets Julius at a 36 Union rally. Sparks fly over signs and shared ideals. Married in '39, they're the picture-perfect duo, 2 kids, a small apartment, Saturday picnics in Central Park with sandwiches and a worn baseball glove. Imagine it. Ethel brushing Michael's messy hair, Julius tossing Robert a ball, laughing as he stumbles, until the feds storm in yelling, "Traitors!" By 50, they're everyday folks. Julius fixing TVs for $1, swapping jokes with neighbors, Ethel baking cookies for the school bake sale, humming lullabies to soothe Robert's bad dreams. But the FBI's got a file thicker than a holiday cookbook. Julius ran a spy ring, they claim, grabbing secrets from Los Alamos, the A-bomb's birthplace. Ethel? Typing notes that armed Stalin like a secretary in a spy flick. Sounds airtight, except the evidence wobbles like a shaky table. Were they Reds chasing their own American dream, or a family swept up in a paranoid whirlwind? If they lived next door, do you dial the authorities or share a lemonade? Tell me below. I'm all ears. Hold on tight. Here's where it turns into a courtroom showdown straight out of a TV drama. June 15, 1950, Klaus Fuchs, a German genius from the Manhattan Project, gets caught in London. Admits he passed bomb blueprints to the Soviets. Bam, the trail heats up. June 16th, David Greenglass, Ethel's shady little brother, a Los Alamos worker, gets nabbed in New York. FBI turns the screws. He spills. Julius pulled me in 44, gave me a Jell-O box, split in half, for a Soviet courier, Harry Gold. Ethel typed my sketches, secrets that built Stalin's bomb. July 17th, Julius is taken in, calm as ever, glasses steaming under the glare. August 11th, Ethel's pulled away, a chess piece to rattle him. She's a mom, not a talker, and they don't flinch. March 6, 1951. Trial ignites in New York's federal courthouse. Judge Irving Kaufman, short, stern, a McCarthy cheerleader with a gavel like a hammer, steps in like a movie villain ready to rule the room. Prosecution's got a story fit for the big screen. Julius slipped Greenglass bomb lens sketches in 45. Ethel typed them up on an old Remington. Secrets that sped Stalin's RDS-1 into reality, tilting the Cold War into a nuclear standoff. 2 years. Appeals fall flat. June 19, 1953, Execution Day rolls in like a storm. Supreme Court steps back. Eisenhower stands firm. They've put millions at risk, no mercy. Sing Sing's buzzing, 5 p.m., crowds gather outside. Protesters wave Save the Rosenbergs signs, priests praying, poets pleading, moms wiping tears. Others shout, Punish the spies. Cops keep the peace. Inside, 8 p.m. Julius steps up, 8:06, strapped in, quiet as a shadow, no final words, maybe picturing Michael's shy smile. One surge, he's gone. Ethel's next, 8:11, small in that massive chair, eyes blazing with resolve. First surge, nothing. Her strength holds. Second, smoke rises, she's still there, guards tense. Third, 5 minutes, a haze engulfs her. Guards stumble in chaos, witnesses struggle with the thick smoky air. 8:16, she's finally still. Why so long? Experts say her size threw off the process. Her heart kept going, a mom's spirit unyielding. Others say it was a misstep. Way to go, folks. 3 tries to end a pancake maker. Michael, 10, and Robert, 7, lose it all in 10 minutes, left alone in a world turned upside down. America's reeling. New York Post cheers, spies stopped, like it's a victory lap, while 10,000 flood Times Square crying, injustice, cops can't hold the tide. The world erupts. 20,000 pack Paris streets. London's Trafalgar Square overflows. Buenos Aires waves angry banners. Albert Einstein pleads with Eisenhower, "This is madness, stop it." Jean-Paul Sartre calls it a shameful act by a fearful nation. Pope Pius X sends a mercy note. Washington stays silent. J. Edgar Hoover digs in. They're just the start, more to find. Then, here's the twist that flips everything. 2001, Greenglass tells the New York Times, I made up Ethel typing, saved my wife, Ruth, blamed my sister to save myself. Venona files, 13,000 decoded Soviet cables, opened in 95, Show Julius past radar and jet details, not the bomb. Minor stuff, not endgame. Ethel? Hardly mentioned. Maybe she just made the coffee. So why'd she face that chair? Revenge? Fear? A Cold War warning shot? Were they cunning spies? Or a family swept away by a system lost in panic? You decide. Geniuses or victims? Share your call below. I'm waiting. Now, let's zoom out. I've spent years peeling back history's layers, from wars to courtroom clashes, and the Rosenbergs. They're a glaring signal of fear taking the wheel. Line 'em up. 1927, Sacco and Vanzetti, two Italian anarchists sentenced in Massachusetts for a robbery they might not have done. Red Scare 1.0, Immigrant Fears, evidence thinner than a whisper. 10,000 grieved their fate. Echoes of 10,000 for the Rosenbergs. Same pattern. America's dread of outsiders. Italians then, Jews and Reds now, sparks the flame every time. Go back further. Salem, 1692. 19 accused of witchcraft, no proof, just wild panic running the show. Jump ahead, Stalin's Great Purge, 36-38, over 1 million lost to rumors of betrayal, trials where facts were a joke. Rosenberg's, same thread. McCarthy's America swapped witches for communists, traded ropes for chairs, turned justice into a public spectacle. Historian Eric Foner sums it up. Fear's perfect chaos. Logic steps aside, and lives get caught in the storm. Look at France, 1944, Oradour-sur-Glane. SS Das Reich destroys a village, 642 gone, families lost. For resistance they couldn't prove. No court, just action, revenge in plain sight. Rosenberg's fate. Same drive, punished to send a message, facts optional. But America wrapped it in legal ribbons, called it right. Compare O.J. Simpson, 94. Evidence piled high, walks free like it's a game. Rosenberg, a jello box and a shaky tail, bam, they're done. Sacco's gun was guesswork. Rosenberg's jello box was a weak prop. Kaufman didn't blink. He wanted results. The world reacted. Einstein begged for Sacco. Save them. Sartre stood for Ethel. Shameful. Same story, higher stakes. Cold War added a nuclear edge, dialed fear to the max. Were they guilty? Venona says. Julius dabbled. Radar, jets, nothing earth-shaking. The bomb? Klaus Fuchs, British records tag him as the real leak. Confesses 50, serves time, moves on. Julius, done. Ethel. A wife in the know, not a planner. Maybe she just listened too close. Historian Ellen Schrecker hits hard. Ethel was a tool. FBI thought she'd break Julius. She didn't, so they went through with it. A Cold War lesson. What about the bigger picture? Did Hoover push it to flex power? Declassified memos from the 80s hint they knew Ethel wasn't key. J. Edgar rolled anyway. A signal to every dreamer out there. Kaufman held secret chats with prosecutors. Shady moves, smells like a plan. Greenglass, a turncoat who dodged the heat, lived to 92, grinning, while Ethel's story ended in smoke. The ripple effect's huge. Michael and Robert Mirapol, 10 and 7, grow up carrying ghosts of a mom who'd hum them to sleep. Michael shares on NPR 2015, I'd wake up hearing Mom's voice. Still do all these years later. Robert's an execution in the family, honest, heavy, a kid's pain turned into words. 70s folk, Pete Seeger's Julius and Ethel, a song that pulls at your heartstrings. The Americans on TV, Spies Next Door. Rosenberg echoes everywhere. Oppenheimer, 2023, Bombs and Secrets. Julius fit right in, Ethel a quiet shadow. Venona lands in 95, Julius involved, Ethel not. Case closed? Not even close. Today, it's electric. On social media, people argue they stood tall, call them heroes or fools. Others say they got what they deserved, no regrets. Some call it a mark of shame, pointing fingers at the system. Many agree Julius might have earned it, but Ethel? A step too far. On forums, folks say 53 New York felt like a funeral. Ethel's story hit hard. They debate Julius perhaps, but Ethel? A wrong call. Venona tags Julius, Ethel's clear. Why'd she go down? They say Greenglass twisted it. We carry that weight. Some even flip it. The system's the real player here. The family still pushes back. She wasn't part of it. History's got it wrong. This isn't old news. It's alive, tangled, and hits close to home. Greenglass's 2001 reveal, I made up Ethel typing, shakes the ground. Ethel's 5-minute struggle, smoke, chaos, a mom's resolve, stays with you. Kids left behind. Michael sketching her face in crayon. Robert hiding under blankets. It lingers. Were they clever spies or a family swept away by a panicked nation? If this went live online, NASA Save Ethel trending. Would they make it? Tell me your take. Geniuses, victims, or something else? The Rosenberg execution didn't tie up a case. It tore the pages wide open and left them scattered. Some saw victory. Spies stopped. America standing tall. Others saw a wound. 2 lives lost on shaky ground. Kids bearing the cost. A nation's conscience rattled. History's full of these moments. Sacco, Salem, Stalin, Orador, fear takes over, and fairness takes a hit. What's it leave us? A bold reminder, when panic leads, lives slip away, and the American dream can fade fast. Michael and Robert keep going. Books, talks, efforts to give Ethel back her lullabies. Venona's a puzzle. Julius dipped in. Fuchs delivered the bomb. Ethel's end? A Cold War move that went too far. A mom caught in the crossfire. Think of those boys, 10 and 7, Michael holding a photo of mom's smile, Robert asking, why, to an empty room, alone in 10 minutes. That sticks with you. Today, it devoted to Capinia. On social media, some say they earned their fate, no looking back. Others say Ethel's clear, the system dropped the ball. Voices argue Julius might have been involved, but Kaufman's the one to question. It's Sacco all over again. Same tension, same clash, stakes sky high. Were they masterminds arming Stalin, or a family lost to a nation too shaken to think straight? If this hit the internet, justice for Ethel, would they walk free? You make the call. Geniuses, victims, or a hard lesson from history? Thanks for joining me on History Unraveled. Hit that like, subscribe, tap the bell for more stories that pull you in deep. Masterminds are misunderstood. Let's dive into it below. I'm reading every thought you share. See you next time.